Hi, Jay.
Hi, can you hear me?
Oh, why no? I cannot hear you, Joy.
Can you hear me now?
You are not muted. Go out of the page and come here again.
Okay. Okay, can you hear me now?
I can hear you now.
Okay.
Okay, welcome. Okay. I'm waiting for other learners to come
Okay.
to the session to start, and your video should be on for the attendance list.
Okay.
It's not also my policy, it is the university policy, but it's important. Okay, how about the exam? Have you read it or not?
Am I ready for the exam? Yeah, I think so. Is it going to be like written or is it going to be multiple choice?
No, it's essay.
Just one?
No, 5.
Okay. Well, I really struggle with writing. Like it's
Yeah.
my so it's bad for me. Like it
Yes,
takes me a
but
long time.
you should learn to writing well because of your future job. You cannot be a high level manager or businesswoman or man if you cannot write and reading in the higher levels.
Yeah. No, I can
There-
definitely write. I don't have a like I'm a pretty good writer. My issue is that it just takes me really long.
Mhm.
So like test wise, the hour is just not long enough.
Yeah, yeah. So you should practice rapid writing.
Yeah, I need to.
And also, the answering the questions is not so about the literature, so about the very high class writing. It is very ordinary and simple writing, but you
Mhm.
should exercise rapid writing.
Okay.
If it is good that you have a good talent for writing well, it is very good. A lot of people doesn't have any talent about the writing well in the
Mhm.
high level writing. You say me that yes, I have some good talent for writing well, but I cannot write it so rapid. Yes.
Yeah. That's that's probably my biggest downfall that I need to like change.
Yeah, last year you were my student in Montebello. Yeah.
Yeah, for
Yes.
psychology.
Yes. Yeah.
Hmm.
For psychology. Yes,
Hmm.
I remember. Okay, we can start until the other students come because I have sent everybody that should be on time here. It's their problem, not our problem. Okay, in this session, for the next 1 hour, near 1 hour, we will talk about the chapter 6 of your book, New Models for Leadership, Neo-Charismatic Inspiration, and Relationship with Followers. Uh, what is neo-charisma? How do you think about this phrase, neo-charismatic leadership? What's your definition of charismatic leadership? Your own leadership, your own definition.
For charismatic leadership, somebody who has the energy
Mhm.
to stay at a certain level with everybody around them.
Yeah, so motivator and so keeping and maintaining the energy level of the followers and other features.
Yeah.
Is it enough? Only energy is enough? So you
Um,
think everybody is charismatic, he or she is only motivator, energetic or not? Other features we should have for being a charismatic leader.
more features probably for sure.
What other features do you think?
Um,
Let me switch the area of discussion. In what areas, in what zones, in what matters do you think that we should have some charismatic? For example, in religion, in politics, in economy, in social movements, in family, in a tribe, in a local area. What areas, what zones, what fields do you think that we should have charismatic leaders? It's necessary.
if we're going to be speaking, mm,
For
I'm
example,
not-
in a sport, do you think that the coaches should be charismatic coaches or no? It is not necessary. It is
I don't
better,
think
but not necessary.
I don't think it's necessary. No.
In religion, the religious, for example, leaders, do you think they should be charismatic? Not Jesus, not Muhammad. The
Mhm.
next new generation of leaders, religious leaders, should they be charismatic leaders, overcoming the hearts of people to
Yeah,
gain their? It is necessary or not? It is only better.
I think it's only better.
So, in what field do you think it is necessary to have some charismatic leaders, charismatic personality, charismatic characters?
Um, I'm thinking about sales. That's the first thing that comes to my mind.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
In business, do we need charismatic leaders?
I think
In,
so.
and in organizations?
Um, any organization for a charismatic leader?
Yeah.
Um, I I don't really know.
Give me a definition of business. What's your definition of business? What's the field of your bachelor? Business or management?
Hospitality.
Okay.
Mhm.
What is the definition of business? Your own simple
Um,
definition. Is it only about giving and taking or not? Something more?
it's I'm trying to think. I don't know. I've never thought about it. It's just a place that you go into because they're offering a service.
Mm-hmm. It is simple definition of business.
Mhm.
Stephanie, welcome to class. You should be on video. Your video should be on if you want to consider your attendances in the class as present in the attendance list.
I know. I saw the email. I literally just got to change out of my pajamas.
Okay, thank you. And Joy, other things is that what's your definition of organization? We are talking about the leadership. After that, I want to reach that point, the definition of charismatic leadership for organization. At first, we should have some joint and shared meaning, a shared definition of basic concept like something like business or organization. What's your basic and simple definition of organization in your mind as a student, a Bachelor of Science related to the organization and passing the courses about organization? What's your definition of organization?
I think it would have to be the not just the business, but the the bigger picture of it. I think is the organization. But
Welcome, Stephanie.
I
Okay.
don't know if that makes sense.
So you think that organization is a big picture of business?
Yeah.
And what is the only big picture? So you think that every type of organization is something like business?
I really have no idea. Like I really don't know.
Stephanie,
I'm just
are you
guessing
sleepy?
as I'm going.
Am I? Yeah, I worked until 3 a.m. I'm very tired.
Okay. Okay. So good morning.
Good morning.
Early rising. 10 p.m. is early rising for someone who has worked until 3 p.m. We are talking about the differences between business and organization. And after going to the characteristic of charismatic leaders, I asked Joy that what field do you think we should have? We have to have some charismatic leaders. What areas of life, what fields of job do you think we should have charismatic leaders? And at first, you can answer me. How do you think about the characteristic of charismatic leaders? What features just distinguishes yes, he or she is charismatic leader in your job, in your family, in your sport?
I think someone who's a charismatic leader is someone who's I guess liked by most people, actually everyone, you know. Yeah, that's what I just think, that someone who's charismatic is just liked by.
Joy said that the main feature of charismatic people is producing energy in other people's and keep that level of energy. So I thought that, is it only motivation? Can you see other feature of a charismatic leaders, not charismatic character, not charismatic person, charismatic leader? After that, I asked about the definition between business and organization. How do you think about the definition of business and definition of organization? Very simple business by your own words. You are muted. Stephanie, you are muted. We cannot hear you.
Sorry.
You are back to the light. You are back to the light, and we cannot see you very clear. If it is possible, it is not necessary. If you can change your degree to see your face, because it's back to light.
If I just open it. Okay, how would I just turn this way?
Okay, that's perfect. Perfect. Yes, yes,
Okay.
perfect. Okay. How do you think about the definitions of organization and business?
Well, an organization, I think, can be like a lot of different things, whereas the business is something like like something that is like a company, you know, like
Corporate.
yeah. Whereas an organization can be like more than that. Right?
Yes. Joyce said the big picture of business is organization. And I have this question that, for example, a church is an organization or a business?
It cherishes it.
Yeah. We have a word so-called non-profit organizations. Do we have non-profit businesses or not?
No.
Can we consider a business non-profit?
No.
We cannot consider a business a non-profit business. I've never heard it. Have you heard it? Non-profit businesses? You are muted again.
No.
No.
I thought the head
But
should.
we have non-profit organizations, okay? When you say NGO, non-governmental organizations. So can we consider profitability or benefitability as a main feature of all types of business? It should have some profit and benefit. Can we consider this feature as a main core feature for definition of organization or not? Well, for business, not for organization. If there is no benefit, there is no profit, it is not called business.
It's an organization. Yeah.
It can be organization, non-profit organization, but it cannot be a business.
Mm-hmm.
And I think corporate is something else. Corporate indicates to the process of an organization or business, not about the goal of the organization or business. The goal of business is profit and benefit. The goal of organization is doing something in an organizing way, okay? But the process of doing, I think it is called corporation and sometimes cooperation. Okay, thank you for discussion, and we can go to the chapter. We have only about, I think, because it is your midterm quiz and 1 hour is for your midterm quiz. Describing the various leaders, followers, cultures, situational, and other things. Advantages of neo-charismatic approaches. Allow for consideration of role of inspiration and vision. Do you know that one of the 4 fundamentals of happiness is vision? Happiness has 4 fundamentals. 1, sense of security. 2, inner peace or serenity. 3, satisfaction. And 4, vision. These are 4 fundamentals of happiness by research also.
It's security, vision.
Security, vision, satisfaction, serenity, inner peace. There is a journal, so-called Journal of Happiness Studies, very high there, because you know that my profession is positive psychology for organization, also for private life. One of them is happiness at workplace. And they have done a lot of research about the happiness for workplace. Totally fundamental of happiness has 4, in one research also, has 4 main pillars. 1, security or safety. 2, serenity. 3, vision. And 4, satisfaction. And also in positive psychology, we say that good life has 3 types. At first, pleasant life. Second, gratification life. And 3rd, meaningful life. These are the 3 grades in a hierarchy of good life. Focus on role of leader in creating and implementing change. Sometimes in previous and old-fashioned theories about the leadership and charismatic leadership, they said that yes, charismatic leader is at the back of the movement, and they say go forward, I support you, I am with you. He or she was a boss, not a leader. Leader is in front and say, follow me. In neo-charismatic leadership approaches, they said that Yes, leaders engage with the implementation of change. Consider leaders at top level of organizations, always, and provide potential integration with upper echelon leadership. You see, we need three types of characteristic here for charismatic leadership. At first, the own leader characteristic. Second, the characteristic of followers. And third, the features or the conditions of situation. What are the characteristic of leader, a charismatic leader? At first, high self-confidence. I have a question. Is there any relationship between narcissistic personality and high confidence, high self-confidence?
I think there's a thin line between the two.
Yeah.
Is it the same or not?
Not quite.
Because we have a word for confidence, it said projective self-confidence. Dominant leaders, dominant people have projective influencer people in Instagram and other parts of politics and economy and organizations. They have a high projective self-confidence. They project, they show, and sometimes show off their self-confidence to other people. But everything you are showing to other people and they are watching you and looking at you that, wow, such a high confidence he or she has and is showing us is not related to the self-confidence. Basically, in the psychology, we say that, sorry, someone who needs to approve, to be approved his or her self-confidence, he or she has a problem of self-confidence. Because when you have real self-confidence, one of the signs and symptoms of having high self-confidence is that you don't need any approval of others. Approval seekers doesn't have any self-confidence, simply speaking. And sometimes when you are an approval seeker, you show yourself as a huge personality with a high self-confidence. But in the root, you don't have any good self-confidence. Why? Because of that, your self-confidence is related to the acceptance of it by other people around you. So you will become approval seeker, you will become pleasure seeker, you will become attention seeker, all types of different types of lack or lower level of high confidence, high self-confidence. But the problem in organization and in leadership and charismatic leadership is one of the tools that charismatic leaders use is that they show high self-confidence. But it is not about the charismatic personality. It is the charismatic showing your personality. Basically, yes, you should have experienced some high level of self-confidence inside yourself. Strong convictions about ideas. Have you studied the book? Have you read the book, Who Moved My Cheese?
No.
No.
Yeah. What was the last success-related book you have studied, you have read?
Last book I read?
Yes, about success.
No clue.
What was your last book you read?
Charles Manson book.
Charles Manson. What was the name of the book title?
Helter Skelter.
Mm-hmm.
I really have no idea.
In American culture, in American success culture, a man, a great American man who passed away about 2 years ago, his name was Spencer Johnson. He is one of the greatest thinker about the concept of management for everybody. 1 minute manager with Kenneth Blanchard. Kenneth Blanchard is very, very famous in the world of modern management. Very, very famous. Spencer Johnson has a lot of books about the 1 minute father, 1 minute mother, 1 minute salesman. It is very great book, 1 minute salesman. And one of the books that is very famous from Spencer Johnson is called, his title is Who Moved My Cheese? Please read this book. It is very helpful to consciousness rising, your way to management or your way to leadership. And highly recommended. Their book, his books is very simple, very very simple. It's like it telling a story. It's in the frame of a story, not the frame of very academic book about the management. It's not
It's
about
called
the
Who
management
Moved
and
My
leadership.
Cheese.
Who moved my cheese? Spencer Johnson. When you search, for example, for self-improvement books, top 10 self-improvement books, you see a lot of books. For example, 7 Habits of Effective People. Have you read the book or not?
I haven't read any type of books like this.
7 Habits of Most Effective People by Stephen Covey. Stephen Covey passed away last year, I think. By Stephen Covey. Or Think and Grow Rich. Have you heard it? Heard about it or not? Nothing?
No.
So what are you doing in your life except of coming to the meetings and going to work and after sleeping? In this manner, you will not be a good leader in the future. Leaders are readers. Don't forget it. Write
I-
in your car.
I read a
Leaders
lot.
are readers.
I read a lot, but I don't read like helpful
What
books.
say, Stephanie? What do you
I
say?
barely read, and I lead in everything I do. Thank you.
High energy and enthusiasm.
That's all I
As
got.
Joyce said about the high energy and enthusiasm, that at first Joyce said, yes, I think one of the greatest features of leaders is having high energy. They motivate other people. They are the source of energy. When the people are fatigued, mentally fatigued, they don't have any hope about the future, and they are losing their wishes, they are losing their vision. A good coach, a good leader comes and yes, we can do it. High energy and enthusiasm. Enthusiasm is the combination of passion and faith. When you have some passion about something and you have faith about your destiny, it is enthusiasm, something more than simple passion. And they are expressive. Can we find a leader, a charismatic leader, that it is not outstanding? No, they are always very, very out speaking, talking to other people and other things. And excellent communication. Communication skills are the basic, most important basic soft skills, combination of soft skills that you need for being a good manager, a good leader at all levels, high echelon levels, mid-level, only in the working class management, you should have some good communication skills. Without communication skills, you will not be a manager, a leader. And active image building. It is very important. You have 2 choices. One, you build your wishes, your future images. You will be your commander of life. You will build your destination. And second choice is other people will be commander of you. You should follow their wishes. You work for their wishes, for their imaging. So-called active image building. Image building and image burning. Image building and a new idea, an imagination about the future, near future, not so far future, near future. Because of that, they can lead other peoples. They can guide on something more important than guidance. Guidance is very simple. When you go for psychotherapy or when you go for counseling or consultation, you will receive some types of guidance. But when you work with a leader, a charismatic leader, you see that, wow, every day The new idea at the same page of the previous ideas is building a new imagination and in a high level of energy, and you are tired, but you are not stopped. And what are the characteristics of followers of charismatic leader? At first, we talk about the characteristic of the same charismatic leader. The other part is about the characteristic of charismatic followers of charismatic leaders. Can anybody be a good follower for a charismatic leader? No. A lot of people cannot be a good follower of charismatic leaders. Why? Because to be a good follower of charismatic leaders, you should obey, and at first unquestionable obedience about the ideas of your charismatic leaders. Sometimes we cannot consider a charismatic leadership for a modern liberal organization. Yes, when you are talking about the charismatic, you are not talking about the liberal and very free of choice word. You are talking about a good leader that think about the future and dictate his or her idea to other people, and other people's want to have a good obedience, unquestioned obedience by their heart. They are not under force. They accept charismatic leader by their own mind, by their own heart, by their own soul. They love the charismatic leaders. So because of that, we cannot say following, we say obedience, unquestionable obedience. So not anybody can be a good follower for charismatic leaders, but the characteristic of followers of charismatic leaders are, at first, high degree of respect and esteem for the leader at first. Sometimes you have such feeling about your parents, about your father, about your grandpa, someone that you love him or her, and in addition of loving, you accept fully, full acceptance, full obedience, high degree of respect and esteem for the leader. If you see that someone has a high level of respect and esteem for other people, you can guess that yes, this type of leadership is about charismatic leadership. Loyalty and devotion to the leader. At the same page of respect and esteem, after that you sit in the long time and in the timeline for a long time, you see that yes, the followers have loyalty and devotion. They dedicate themselves to the goals of their charismatic leader. Affection for the leader. The key word for successful loving, for successful followership, for successful leadership, charismatic leader. Because of why we are talking about love, because in some texts we consider loving two people when they have intimate love together with a high degree of loyalty and devotion. We consider this type of love as a charismatic relationship. They are captured, they are getting captured their heart by their lover, by their partner. So capturing the heart is the basic part of charismatic leadership. Charismatic relationship, it is leadership, management, even partnership. The heart is the basic part. So we call emotional bond. Emotional bond is the key word of the charismatic leadership between people. When people are in the relationship with the charismatic features, they have emotional bond, they affection for the leader. Sometimes it is not leader, it is your partner, it is your parent, it is your close friend. Yes. When it is called charismatic relationship, charismatic situation, that you have good affection, emotional bond, with a high sense of obedience and respect and esteem and loyalty and devotion. And after that, because of this type of leadership, because of this type of following, a charismatic leader, you have a high level of performance and you have a high level of expectation from your performance, from yourself, not from your leader. Why? Because you say, yes, it is a type of leadership. We are talking and we are moving to the ideas and to the idealistic life. Not it is very simple and ordinary word. We are talking about the change the world. We are talking about the future. In this part, the main word for describing this sense of idealistic life is heroism. Heroism, for example, if you start to study about the hero's journey by Joseph Campbell, and you see the different level of heroism in your life, in your daily life, all of us has a hero inside us. It is approved in some part of humanistic psychology, some type of humanities sciences, for example, sociology, psychology, politics, economy, all of us has a hero inside ourselves. And you finally see the truth that the hero lies inside you, as Mariah Carey say in his song Hero, as you finally see the truth that the hero lies inside you. Because of that, when you are in a connection with the charismatic features, the standard, the expectations of the performance of the movement is very high. Why? Because we are talking about the revolution and evolution to a optimum point, which is we can find in the seeing in the perspective of the leader. And unquestioning obedience, we talk about it, that one of the greatest and main features of following a leader as a charismatic leader, that you as a follower has unquestionable obedience. But in addition to right person and right time, we have right place. It is called situation. Not honestly, it is not about the place, it is about the situation of leadership. External factors and internal factors. Some factors about the situation. It is about the external factors of situation, which are observable, which are tangible, which are measurable sometimes. And some features are about the intrinsic features of situation or internal factors of situation, that in that situation, we can see a charismatic leadership and charismatic relationship. Sense of actual or imminent crisis. It is very important. When we are following a charismatic leader, when in outside, when in external parts of our life, we have a sense of actual crisis. It is very, very urgent crisis. We need someone to change everything to go forward and improve our life to a better and safe and higher level of change. Why? Because now we are in crisis. Perceived need for change. When we are talking need for change, we are not talking about the sometimes real need for change. We are talking about perceived need for change. It is your perception about the change. Sometimes we can find a real need for change. Sometimes it is not real. It is our perception. What's the perception? Perception is the meaning of the things around us, external sensations. The meaning in our mind, the meaning in our brain is called perception. So sometimes we are talking about the future. Sometimes we are talking about the perceived future. How do you perceive the future situation of your life? It is not your future situation of life. It is your perceived future situation of life. At the same part, at the same meaning, we have perceived need for change. You have a good perception. You should have a good perception of the need for change. If there is no need for change, why do we need a charismatic leadership capturing our hearts and unquestionable obedience and following and loyalty and paying time and money and energy and our passion, enthusiasm, high energy for both sides, leaders and followers? Because we need an immediate and imminent crisis. We need to create some changes in our life, and it is very, very urgent. So perceived need for change It is very important. Sometimes you are in your ordinary world and you are living as the same features with the same characteristic of your life, no changing sometimes. And another one come to your life and says, what type of life do you have? It is not efficient. You are not happy. You don't have any serenity. This type of leadership is at first mentorship. Mentorship is someone that notice to you your weakness points, your dissatisfactions, your inefficiencies. He or she is called mentors. And in an active word, it is called coaching. Opportunity to articulate ideological goal. It is very important. For example, in a society like America, you have the right of freedom of the speech. Nobody can say you to shut your mouth out and say nothing. It is the rule that you have the right of freedom of speech. You have the right to articulate ideological goal. Why such a heavy word? We are talking about ideology. We are talking about the worldview. Yes. Why? Because we are talking about the changing in the high level of performance, changing in the high level of vision, changing for the future. It is approved that leaders are future oriented, non leaders are not. Always, future leaders are future oriented. And in the oppositional side, if you are talking about the future, in that time you are thinking like a leader. It is very important, both sides. If you are a leader, you should consider future at the first step of your thinking. And if you are thinking about the future, you are thinking like a leader. Opportunity to articulate ideological goal. Ideological goal is the goal about your worldview, about the future. It is value-based goal. It is value-based thinking, value-based leadership. That also charismatic leadership is not value-based leadership. It's something different. But in this meaning, yes, ideological goal it is about the goal for the future. Availability of dramatic symbols. This is very important. Mottos, symbols are very important to a movement, to a charismatic leadership. Why? Because the mottos and the symbols are talking us about the meaning of the movement, meaning of the charismatic leadership we are doing as a follower or as a leader. It creates the joint and the shared meaning for our leadership, for our movement to the future. So availability of dramatic symbols, it's very important as an external factor sometimes in dictatorship, government, in non-democratic governments. You cannot use your dramatic symbols. Even sometimes you don't have any right to speech with freedom. You cannot do it, anything. So it is not a good external factor for having a relationship in charismatic relationship as a charismatic leader. Opportunity to articulate followers' role. Again, it is very important. Sometimes it is in hidden files, in the hidden levels of the society. We cannot say that, yes, we have a cult. Yes, we have a crowd. Yes, we are here as an association. Yes, we are here as a leadership, charismatic leadership-based gathering event, group. A lot of countries, a lot of situations, even America, in some states, you are not so free, you are not so comfort to talk about everything. For example, some states have a very deep and rigid religion-based attitudes. Okay, you cannot talk about everything so easily you cannot be so open-minded, free thinker. So opportunity to articulate followers' role is very important as an external factor for creating and shaping a charismatic situation. And some factors, especially in the organization, now we are talking about the organizational charismatic leadership. Some situation is about the inside and inner parts of organization. One, it is organizational life cycle. Life cycle of organization is the duration has been passed from the starting the organization. It's an old organization. It's a new organization. It is the entrepreneurship. It is not organization. We are talking about the entrepreneurship. If you want to work on the leadership coaching, we have a field so-called leadership coaching. Leadership coaching is especially for entrepreneurship. Why? Because a lot of entrepreneurs know about the money, know about the finance, know about their ideas, but they don't have and they don't know and they don't have any good perception of leadership. Because of that, their ideas will not go up, will not develop, and will destroy. Here in this part, we need a lot of leadership coaches. Complex tasks. In what grade of complexity we can see in an organization for the task that we want to use the charismatic leader to solve or to do to implement the task. It is very important. The simplicity or the degree of complicated the task is that we are using the leader for the task. No external reward available. Is it important that do we have any external reward for the task or not? It is only internal and it is only about the feeling of being a good, for example, employee. It is not external, it is internal. Flexible and organic structure. In what degree the organizational structure is flexible and can have some waving, some moving like a wave, in contrast with the new crisis in organization, new situations. It is very rigid or not, it is flexible. It is very important. More flexibility in organization, more survival for organization. Sometimes flexibility does not meaning development, does not meaning advancing, does not progression, yes. But sometimes it is only for maintenance, for survival. But even organization doesn't have a good degree of flexibility, survival will be under harm, it is under danger. The organization should be destroyed after sometimes. And for charismatic leadership, it is very important that have a good flexibility degree for the organizations. And non-bureaucratic cultures. Also bureaucratic cultures, you see that the level of bureaucratic culture, it is very lower now. Why? Because of the virtual world, destroy a lot of bureaucratic necessities for doing things. And after COVID-19, it makes so easier for doing things. Why? Because virtual world, it is very common now. And a lot of companies are switching their physical world and physical activities to the virtual world. The activities are the same, but from the real and physical world go to the virtual. In virtual world, we have some bureaucratic complexities, yes, but it is very, very much lower than the physical world. So every type of organization, each type of organization with lower non-bureaucratic culture, it is very good for charismatic leadership. Universally positive cross-cultural attribute of leadership. What is the meaning of cross-cultural attribute? What is the differences? What are the differences between cultural attributes and cross-cultural attributes? Is it related to the organization, related to the countries, related to the races, ethnicities, religions? What is the main distinguishing factor between the cross-cultural and cultural? cross-cultural attribute, cross-cultural psychology, cross-cultural behaviors, or cultural attribute to cultural psychology, cultural organizational values, and other things. What is the cutting point that distinguishes, yes, this is cultural, this is not non-cultural, this is cross-cultural? How do you think about this question?
Cross-cultural like is, wait, are you asking what the difference is that and just cultural?
Cultural and cross-cultural.
So cross-cultural is like all different backgrounds type of thing,
Uh-huh.
whereas cultural could just be like one different background, like
One.
whether it's ethnicity or um just anything.
Mhm.
That's just cultural, but cross-cultural is like all of it.
For example, do you think that can we have any cross-cultural features for organization?
Yeah.
What are the cross-cultural features of an organization, do you think?
Mm,
Three features of and cross-cultural features of organization. You are a manager, you go out from America, for example, to Japan, and they say, yes, we have some cultural features for management in Japan, and we have some cross-cultural features. What are the cross-cultural features of a manager or an organization in your studying for as a bachelor student? And also, it is about Joey. Joey, you can answer also.
like understanding different backgrounds, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I kind of agree with Stephanie, like the different behaviors and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like learning how to put them together and work together.
It is cultural or cross-cultural?
Um, I think cross-cultural, if it's all different.
When you are talking about the word cross-cultural in any aspect of your life, you are talking about the fixed and non-different features. It is universal features, something more than specific cultural features. We are calling cross. For example, the weight of the brain and the shape of the brain is a cross-cultural feature of a human. Why? In America, in Japan, in Africa, in Middle East, there is a very, very short differences between the shape and the weight of the brain. It is cross-cultural feature, not cultural. Cultural is related to the specific features of a nation, a geographical situation, a religion, a politics. Every aspect of culture you are talking about, specific parts, it is cultural, and general parts, honestly, when we are talking about the cross-cultural, we are talking about something which is not cultural. It is universal. It is overall. So we can see the title is Universally Positive Cross-Cultural Attributes of Leadership. It is not related to the specific leaders and the specific cultures. Encouraging and positive. All companies, all countries, all thinkers accept that a charismatic leader should be encouraging and positive. We don't have any optimistic, charismatic personality. We don't have. All types of influencers, all types of charismatic leaders, charismatic personalities are pessimistic, are optimistic. Sorry, they are optimistic. We don't have any pessimistic charismatic leader. All types of charismatic leaders, charismatic thinkers, influencers are optimistic, always positive. It's a rule. And if you want, why? Because when you are capturing the heart of other people, that you are talking and you're acting based upon the hope, about the future. What type of leader that you are talking about the darkness, about the dark future. Thank you. We can do it by ourselves. We don't need any leader to say that, to say us that, yes, you know, your future is very dark. It is not leadership. So all types of charismatic leadership are optimistic, positive thinkers. Too motivational. When everybody is fatigued and tired, I am here to motivate you to go forward again and again and again. As Muhammad Ali Khalil say, when you want to be a winner in boxing, you should only play another additional round, only another additional round. And dynamic, he or she as a leader is not static, dynamic, progressive. Having integrity with different aspects of his or her life, with different aspects of his or her personality, his or her attitude, and real life, real daily life, and the moving to the future of hopes, to the ideological goals, we can see a type of integrity between all aspects of his or her life. And being trustworthy, it is very important in all types of leading, even as a parent. As you know, parenting basically is a type of leading. All leaders should have some good personality traits for parenting, and vice versa. All types of parenting should have a good characteristic of leadership. And the first part of parenting is trust. If your child cannot trust you, you are damaging, you are destroying parent. You are not parent. You are only biological parent. You are not a very good trainer for your child. Why? Because he or she cannot trust you. Team builder, it's very organizational and decisive, no doubt. It's that. Pursuit of the goals, intelligent, a good feedback. Can we do it something wrong? Yes. Can we do it again as a smart man or woman? No. The sign of intelligence is feedback. We are allowed to do something wrong, to do something, some mistakes, yes, but repeat it is not about the intelligence. When some people do it again and again and again, mistake again and again, they are stupid. Why? Because they don't have any positive or negative feedback from the past history of their life, from the past experiences. The same wrong way, the same wrong game. And communicator, we talk about the communication skills and win-win problem solvers. They don't want to be a dominant in their relationship with other people. Why? Because when somebody is dominant against you, you cannot love him or her. Dominancy is not a relationship of intimacy, a relationship of trust, a relationship of loyalty. Dominancy is dominancy with a lot of force against you. So it is not a win-win game. It is a win-lose game. And losers never will love the winners. Why? Because they have lost everything in their relationship. For example, organizational relationship as a leader, or partnership relationship, or parental relationship, or social relationship, every type of relationship. When you are a loser, you cannot have a good loyalty to your friend or devotion to your winner. Are you crazy? No, we are not crazy. Yes, it is true that we cannot love someone who has a good dominancy, has a high level of dominancy against us. It is not interaction. It is only a power line that I am on the minimum level of line, not the upper level. So all the charismatic leaders emphasis on the win-win game. They don't want to be winner only for own self, because after that they will lose their followers. They love to win game for themselves and also for their followers. And some negative class cultural attributes. These were the positive, these are the negative. Being a loner, There is a good book by Paulo Coelho. Its title is Winner Stands Alone. Winner stands alone. Eagle, as a high flyer bird, is alone. Yes, you are soaring high like an eagle, yes. But at the high levels of mountain, it is very pure weather, very cold weather. At the high, you can see everything, but sorry, you are alone. So one of the bad sides of to be a leader is that you are alone. Being non-cooperative. Sometimes in leadership, we can see that they are not cooperative and restless. Some leaders can become restless and not explicit and irritable and dictatorial. These are the negative parts. It is not absolutely true for every leader, but sometimes you can see non-explicit, irritable, dictatorial, and culturally conditioned leadership attributes is, sorry, risk taking, the basic part. We have three parts: game theory, risk study, and risk ability. You should know about these: game theory, risk study. Risk study is a mathematical science. You should know as a manager. You should know how to study your risk with mathematical tools. It is not about the discussion. It is not about the culture. It is very, very empirical and rigid science of mathematics. It is risk study and game theory. Game theory is the basic part of risk study science. And after that, you will a good prediction of riskability of your, for example, business plans. It is called sometimes feasibility study. Feasibility study, other parts of a study you should do about your business goals at first. So risk taking is one of the basic features of leaders. And enthusiasm, forget it. Forget it. To be a good leader without good energy, good thinking, enthusiasm. Enthusiasm is the basic part of leadership. I think, this is my personal own idea about this, the main cutoff point, the main distinguishing point between leaders and managers are something, for example, at first it is future oriented of leaders, but managers want to maintain the present situation. Secondly, it isn't about enthusiasm. You cannot be a leader without enthusiasm. It's a lie. Yes, you can be a good manager, a good, even mid-level. In the high level of manager, we need a lot of science, a lot of skills. But as a leader, you want to move your followers. You want to motivate your followers. You are the source of inspiration for your followers. What type of source of inspiration you are that you don't have any type of any good level and high level of enthusiasm? It's impossible. Forget it. How vision is communicated. We have three parts for all types of organization: vision, mission, strategy. Vision, mission, strategy. The pathway between missions and visions is a strategy. So you should be connected to your visions in your life. As we talk about the foundations of happiness, vision is one of the four foundations of happiness for your organization. If you don't have any clear vision about the organization, you are confused, and after that you will experience some confusion of roles, in role confusion and role conflict as a manager, as a daughter, as a boy, as a son, as a girl, and other parts, other roles, social roles. We have experiences, we are expressing some role confusions. And after that, role conflicts. The role conflicts is the basic part of all types of anxiety in psychology. Role conflicts. When you cannot combine very fairly with different roles of, for example, now Stephanie has worked until 3. his role as an employee is very good, hard worker. But now as a student at the class, she's tired. So it is a role conflict between being a very fresh student. She loves to be very fresh in the class, but she's a little tired, sleepy. It's okay. So it is role conflict between the role of being a good employee and role of being a good student. It is role conflict. If it continues, for example, for the next 2 months, gradually she feels that, okay, I should select good employee, good students. It is the source of sometimes of sometimes anxiety and stress, for example, on her. Also, it is an example that we can see. What constitutes good communication and how much leader is seen as equal? It is very important that is your leader your role model or not? When we look at somebody as a role model, sometimes it is very real. We find somebody to be our role model in our life. It is a very real person. Sometimes it's historical. We find them, we read about them, personality, their characters, but they are not alive, or they are alive, but we are not connected to them. In what degree we think, yes, he or she's a human being, and I am a human being too. And whatever other human beings can do, I can do it. Not so easily, yes, but I can do it. Japanese proverb says, if you do something, I can do it too. If you do something, I can do it too. If you cannot do it something, I should do it. I must do it. It's a source of challenge for Japanese people. If you do something, I can do it too. Copy paste. If you cannot do it, I must do it. It is my situation, my opportunity to doing something different. Why? Because you cannot do it. It's a very positive, challenging seeker of view to the problems. Just challenge seeker. We are seeking about the challenges in life. What is the challenge? The points that other people are fearful to enter. They are lazy, they are fearful, they don't think that they don't have a good sense of self-confidence. Yes, it is our opportunity to enter. Why? Because other people are outside the door. How much leader is seen as equal? And the last part we are talking is ethical and unethical charisma. Ethical charisma use power to serve others. Sometimes it is called servant leadership. Matches vision to follower needs. Open to feedback is very important. When you don't have any good sense of openness to feedback, you cannot be intelligent. And develop followers and encourage thinking and thinking and thinking. And unethical is user power for personal gain. I am the charismatic, yes, but I use my power for my personal gain, not for my followers or ideological goals. And promotes own vision, close to criticism, top-down communication. This is not leader, it's a king. Top-down communication and insensitive to followers. It's not important for them that what about the fate of and the destination of the followers. I think yes, everything they are doing for themselves. So go for 15 minutes break until 11:13. Just as 11:30, be here to take your midterm quiz. It is very important to be at the class. For the hybrid students, it is mandatory to take the quiz in the meeting, in the session. For the non-hybrid, for the online, it is not important. So after 15 minutes, I will be here. I will give you the password of the quiz and you enter the quiz. Anything else? Okay, see you after 15 minutes.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Okay.
Can you see the password for midterm quiz, Stephanie? Okay. You can start your midterm quiz for 1 hour. The password is education. Let me know, have you entered the midterm quiz or not?
I'm in.
Okay. Joey, check your midterm quiz. The password is education for 1 hour. 5 essays for 1 hour. It's very easy.
Wait, that's not what I have.
What's the problem?
The midterm there's no essays, it's 10 multiple choice.
Take a minute. Take a minute. Take a minute. I think. Take a minute.
Yeah, I'm in too.
Okay. It's good for you. I mistake it with another class. Take a minute. The students are very lucky to have the. Okay, for Joey. Joey doesn't love any essay questions for.
I hate
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah,
Yes.
they're all
Okay.
multiple choice.
Have a good quiz,
oh
everybody. And after that, Stephanie can go to sleep for a long time.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Have a good sleep, Stephanie.
Okay.
Okay.
Bye. Yeah.
Okay. It's very easy. And you can find the answers in the PowerPoints. Most of them are in the PowerPoints. Yes, I'm here until the end of the session. If you had any question, please say me.
I just finished. Do I have to stay on or log out? You're muted.
Okay.
Okay.
Have a good day.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.